My name is Iris Tmain, and I just turned 18. Last night was supposed to be my birthday party. Music, balloons, people smiling, pretending everything in my life was normal. But something happened that changed everything. My dad pulled me aside in the middle of the party. His voice was low, calm, like he was talking about something small. "When this is over," he whispered, "you're going to sign some papers for Uncle Wade. Just a formality." I looked at him. He was smiling like nothing important was happening. So I smiled back. I nodded. Like I agreed. Like I trusted him. But inside, something in me shifted. Because I've learned something over the years. When adults say just a formality, it is never just a formality. That night, while the music was still playing downstairs and everyone was laughing, I quietly walked into the kitchen. I opened my laptop. And I did something I had never told anyone I could do. I moved everything. My grandparents' entire inheritance. The cabin. The savings. The investments. Everything worth millions. I placed it all into an irrevocable trust. Locked. Protected. Untouchable. Then I closed my laptop like nothing had happened. Downstairs, my family was still celebrating. But I already knew something they didn't. They were planning to take something that was never theirs. And now, they couldn't. The next morning came too fast. The house felt different, even before anyone spoke. My dad came downstairs first. Then my mom. Then my younger sister, Kelsey. They all had that same look. Confused. Uneasy. Like something invisible was wrong. My dad checked his phone. Then he froze. He didn't say anything at first. Just stared. Then he whispered, "No, this can't be right." My mom walked over to him. "What is it?" He didn't answer. Instead, he opened his laptop. His hands were shaking now. I sat at the table, eating cereal slowly, watching them. Because I already knew what they were going to find. My dad's face went pale. My mom leaned closer. And then she gasped. Everything was gone. Not stolen. Not missing. Locked. Legally sealed behind a trust they could not touch. The cabin. The money. The investments. All of it. Protected. My dad looked like the air had been pulled out of him. This doesn't make sense," he said. My mom turned toward me. "What did you do?" I didn't answer right away. I just took another bite of cereal. Because now they were finally seeing it. But I had been seeing it for years. Let me take you back. 6 years ago. Cedar Lake. That was the place everything started. I was 12. My grandfather, Harold Tmain, picked me up early in his old truck. The road was long and quiet. No music. Just the sound of tires and his calm breathing. When we arrived, I saw the cabin. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't perfect. The porch was uneven. The screen door stuck when you opened it. But it felt warm. Alive. Like it remembered every person who had ever loved it. "Grab the other end," Grandpa said, lifting a broken fence rail. I ran over and helped him. He never rushed me. He never told me I was doing it wrong. He just showed me how wood softens when it's rotting. How to press your thumb into it to check. If it gives, he said, it's done. That was how he taught me everything. Not just about wood. About life. Inside, Grandma Vivian had sandwiches waiting. And iced tea. She didn't ask what I wanted. She already knew. That was the first time I noticed something strange. They didn't treat me like a guest. They treated me like I belonged there. Like the cabin was already mine in a way I didn't understand yet. That evening, Grandpa sat beside me on the porch. The lake was glowing orange. And he said something I didn't fully understand at the time. "This cabin stays in the family," he said. Then he looked at me. "But family isn't always blood, Iris. Family is whoever shows up." I nodded like I understood. But I didn't. Not yet. After that summer, I kept coming back. Every weekend. I learned everything. Which windows stuck. Which boards were weak. How the heater made noise before it failed. Grandpa taught me like I was going to be responsible for it someday. Maybe I was. Grandma taught me how to organize the bookshelves. By color. Because it makes the room feel warmer, she said. I didn't know then that every lesson was intentional. That every moment was being prepared. Back home, everything felt different. Cold. My sister Kelsey had the bigger room. Lavender walls. New furniture. I had the leftover room. Old carpet. No upgrades. At dinner, my dad always talked about money. Always the cabin. "Dad's place is just sitting there losing value," he said once. "We should sell it." My stomach tightened. "Grandpa said it stays in the family," I told him. My dad laughed. Not kindly. Like I was a child saying something cute. "You were 12, Iris." He was just being sentimental. No one listened to me after that. Not really. But I listened to everything. Especially when I shouldn't have. Because one day, I saw a flyer on the counter. Ridgeline development. Lakefront lots. High-value sales. A phone number scribbled in the corner. I didn't say anything. But I understood something important. They weren't just talking about the cabin. They were pricing it. Like it was already theirs. 2 years later, my grandfather died. I was 14. The funeral was gray. Heavy. I remember the handkerchief in my hand. Blue plaid. Frayed edges. It smelled like him. At the reception, I saw my Uncle Wade. And my dad. Standing too close together. Talking too quietly. Not grieving. Planning. I heard one sentence. "We should move before probate gets complicated." That was the moment something inside me changed. Quietly. But permanently. After my grandfather's funeral, everything changed in a way nobody said out loud. People acted the same on the surface, but nothing felt normal anymore. My Uncle Wade started showing up more often. My dad started talking about the cabin like it was already part of his plans. And my mom stopped correcting him. Like everyone had silently agreed on a future I was not included in. I was 14, but I noticed everything. Especially the way adults speak differently when they think children aren't important. They stop explaining. They start deciding. 2 years passed after Grandpa died. Then Grandma Vivian got sick. It happened slowly at first. Then all at once. I remember visiting her in the hospital in March. By June, she was gone. The last time I saw her alive, she held my hand so tightly it surprised me. Her voice was weak, but her eyes were clear. "The cabin is yours, Iris," she whispered. "Don't let them take it. Promise me." My throat hurt when I spoke. "I promise." She nodded once. And that was it. After her funeral, the house felt colder than before. Like something had been removed from the world. That night, I overheard my dad and uncle in the kitchen. Not crying. Not mourning. Talking business. "Now we can sort out the property," my dad said. Like her death was a key turning in a lock. Like something had finally opened. Wade agreed immediately. Fast. Too fast. Like he had been waiting. And that was when I understood something I didn't want to understand. To them, Grandma's death wasn't grief. It was access. That was the moment I stopped being just a granddaughter. And started becoming a problem they didn't see coming. From age 16 to almost 18, I lived two lives. At home, I was quiet. Careful. Observing everything. At the cabin, I was something else. I repaired things. Fixed broken wood. Cleaned the porch. Replaced weather strips. I did what Grandpa taught me. Not because anyone asked. Because I needed it to stay alive. Every Saturday, I drove there alone in an old Honda I bought with babysitting money. No one stopped me. They were too busy planning what they thought would eventually belong to them. At home, conversations became sharper. Less like suggestions. More like decisions. The cabin is family property, my dad started saying more often. Not asking. Declaring. My Uncle Wade brought folders now. Real estate papers. Printouts of similar lake properties. Numbers circled in pen. One night, I heard him on the phone in the garage. I already signed the deal, he said. Ridgeline is ready. We just need clean title. I froze outside the door. Clean title. Those words didn't mean much to them. But I started remembering everything Grandpa ever said about property. About ownership. About trust. About timing. At dinner, I finally asked the question out loud. What about Grandma's wish? My mom didn't look up from her plate. She was emotional at the end, Iris. My uncle nodded like it was obvious. This is business. That word again. Business. As if love and promises were things that expired when money got involved. Then one day, I found the envelope. It was hidden behind old blankets in the cabin closet. My name written on the front. Grandma Vivian's handwriting. My hand shook before I even opened it. Inside was a business card. Margaret Caldwell, attorney at law. And underneath it. Tmain Family Trust. I stared at it for a long time. Because I knew, without knowing how I knew, that this changed everything. Grandma hadn't just trusted me with words. She had prepared something real. Something legal. Something they couldn't talk their way around. I didn't call right away. I wasn't ready. But I kept the card with me. Everywhere. Like a secret I wasn't allowed to understand yet. 3 months before my 18th birthday, the phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But I did. Iris Tmain, a calm voice said. This is Margaret Caldwell. I worked with your grandparents. My heart tightened. I need to see you, she said. Before your birthday. It's important. I met her in a small office downtown. Everything smelled like paper and old coffee. She didn't waste time. She opened a folder. And said the words that changed everything again. Your grandparents placed everything into an irrevocable trust. I blinked. What does that mean? It means the cabin, the savings, and the investments are legally protected. They are not part of any inheritance your parents can claim. My stomach dropped. She slid papers across the desk. My name is on this? Yes, she said. You are the sole beneficiary. I couldn't breathe properly. Then she added something worse. Your father and uncle have no legal ownership of the property. I stared at the document. This was done 6 years ago, she continued. Your grandfather believed your family would try to sell it immediately after his death. I whispered, would they? Margaret didn't hesitate. Yes. That was the moment everything became real. Not emotional. Not family conflict. Legal truth. Final truth. But there was something else. Margaret lowered her voice. Someone has been making inquiries about the property. My body went cold. Your uncle, she added. He's trying to move faster than the system allows. That was the day I stopped reacting. And started planning. That night, I listened through the garage door. My uncle and dad were talking again. This time, I heard everything. We file a quitclaim deed, Wade said. Transfer it to ourselves. Then sell fast. My dad hesitated. And Iris? She's 17, Wade said sharply. She can't stop anything. A pause. Then my dad asked quietly. And when she turns 18? Wade laughed. It'll already be done. That was the moment I stopped being scared. And started being careful. That night, I texted Margaret. 2 words. They're moving. Her reply came in minutes. I expected this. Saturday. We prepare. For the first time, I wasn't alone in what was coming. And for the first time, I understood the real meaning of the word family. Not who you're born with, but who protects you when they think no one else will. After I texted Margaret, something inside me changed. Not fear. Not panic. Focus. Because now I knew the truth. And worse. I knew they were close. Closer than ever. The next day felt normal on the surface. But nothing was normal anymore. At breakfast, my dad was unusually cheerful. Big plans for your birthday, he said, like nothing else mattered. My mom smiled too quickly. We're doing something special this year. Kelsey looked confused but happy. Only I understood what was happening. They weren't celebrating me. They were preparing an audience. 5 days before my birthday, my mom sat next to me on the couch. Her voice was soft. Careful. Like she was stepping around broken glass. Iris, she said, now that you're turning 18, we need to make some family decisions together. Together. That word again. I turned slightly. What decisions? She hesitated. The cabin is expensive to maintain. Taxes, repairs, insurance. Then she leaned closer. If we sell it, it would help all of us. We could pay debts. Secure your future. Kelsey's too. I looked at her. Grandma wanted me to keep it. Her expression tightened for a fraction of a second. Then she softened it again. Your grandmother was very emotional at the end, sweetheart. That doesn't always mean she was practical. That word again. Practical. As if love had to pass a financial test to be real. That evening, my dad came home early. He didn't even sit down before speaking. I've already talked to a buyer, he said. Ridgeline development. Good price. Clean deal. My stomach dropped slightly. Ridgeline? I asked calmly. He nodded. Wade stepped into the room right after him. Like he had been waiting for his cue. Fast closing, he added. Everyone wins. I didn't react. Not yet. Instead, I said the safest thing I could. I'll think about it. My dad smiled immediately. That's all we ask. But that night, I overheard Kelsey outside my door. She was whispering to someone on the phone. Then she knocked. She looked uneasy. They keep talking about the cabin, she said quietly. They sound excited. Like something is already done. I felt a sharp pressure in my chest. But I smiled gently at her. Don't worry about it, I said. Because she didn't need to be part of this. Not yet. 3 days before my birthday, Wade showed up at the house uninvited. Casual clothes. Relaxed smile. But his eyes were sharp. Everything about him was controlled. Iris, he said, leaning against his car, just a quick talk. We sat on the front steps. He didn't waste time. You know that property is worth around $450K, he said. I can close a deal fast. You'd get $50K. Clean. Easy. I looked at him. 50 out of 450? He smiled like I was missing the point. Most people your age would be grateful. Then he leaned closer. This is your future, Iris. Don't overthink it. I asked one question. Whose name is on the deed? His smile flickered for a second. Then came back. Your grandparents. But they're gone. That was his mistake. Because I already knew that wasn't how it worked. But I let him talk. I always let them talk. It told me everything I needed. That night, I texted Margaret again. They're accelerating. Her reply came instantly. Good. That means they're desperate. Stay ready. 2 days before my birthday, I went to the cabin alone. The lake was quiet. Too quiet. Even the wind felt careful. I walked inside. Everything was exactly as Grandpa left it. The smell of wood. The old table. The chair he used to sit in. I sat there for a long time. Then I opened my laptop. Margaret had sent everything. Forms. Legal confirmations. Step-by-step instructions. My entire future, organized into documents. All I had to do was sign. But signing meant something bigger than paperwork. It meant choosing a side. Not between right and wrong. But between silence and survival. At midnight, I sat on the porch. The lake reflected the sky like glass. And for the first time, I let myself feel it. Not anger. Not fear. Grief. Because I understood something deeply painful. My family wasn't confused. They weren't misled. They knew exactly what they were doing. And they were still doing it. I closed my laptop. And whispered. I'm sorry, Grandma. Because I finally understood her warning. Don't let them take it. She wasn't being emotional. She was being precise. That night, I set my alarm for 11:45 p.m. Because in a few hours, I would turn 18. And everything would change. 11:50 p.m. The house was completely silent. No TV. No voices. Even Kelsey's room light was off. It felt like the whole world was holding its breath without knowing why. I sat on my bed with my laptop open. My hands were steady now. Strangely steady. Like my body had already accepted what my mind was still processing. At exactly midnight, I opened the video call with Margaret Caldwell. Her face appeared on the screen. Calm. Ready. Are you prepared? She asked. I nodded. Yes. Good, she said. From this moment, you are a legal adult. Everything your grandparents left is now under your authority. She slid the documents into position. One signature, she said softly. That's all it takes. I looked at the screen. At my name on the papers. At my grandparents' trust. At everything my family thought they could take. And I signed. One clear signature. No hesitation. No shaking hands. Just certainty. Margaret looked at the clock. It's done, she said. Tomorrow morning I file the lease pendants. I didn't fully understand the word yet. So she explained. It freezes the property. Nobody can sell it. Nobody can transfer it. It becomes legally locked until the court recognizes your claim. I exhaled slowly. For the first time in years. I felt something close to safety. What I didn't know was that across town, my Uncle Wade was also awake. Printing documents. Preparing a quitclaim deed. Planning to take the cabin at 9 a.m. He believed he was early. He wasn't. He was already too late. The next afternoon was my birthday party. Balloons. Cake. Music. People smiling. Neighbors. Family friends. Everything looked normal. But nothing was normal. Because I knew what was coming. And so did my uncle. He kept checking his phone. Typing fast. Erasing. Retyping. My dad stood proudly near the cake like everything was under control. Like nothing was about to collapse. He tapped his glass. Iris is 18 today, he said. And as a family, we have big plans for the future. He smiled at me. I smiled back. But I didn't blink. After cake, Wade stepped closer to the front door. Restless. Watching the time. Waiting for morning. He thought he had control of the schedule. He didn't. A neighbor, Nora Beckett, leaned toward me quietly. I saw your uncle at the cabin last week, she whispered. He was there with men measuring the land. My stomach tightened. They weren't planning. They were already acting. Then my dad stood again. His voice changed. Louder this time. More confident. As a family, he said, we've decided to sell the Cedar Lake cabin. The room got quiet. Then he looked at me. Iris understands. Right, sweetheart? Every eye turned to me. I felt the pressure of the room. But I didn't move. I didn't rush. I just said calmly. I never agreed to sell it. A pause. My dad's smile froze slightly. Wade stepped in immediately. Come on, Iris. Don't make this difficult. I looked at him. The time for this discussion is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Silence dropped instantly. Because that wasn't a guess. That was knowledge. People started leaving after that. Quietly. Uncomfortably. Like they could feel something breaking but didn't want to witness it. Soon, only family remained. My dad closed the door. The sound felt final. In the kitchen, everything changed. No more pretending. No more party voices. Just tension. My mom turned to me first. Her voice sharp now. You are tearing this family apart over a cabin. I looked at her. You went through my things, I said calmly. Wade's expression shifted slightly. You had no right to hide a lawyer from us. I didn't flinch. I didn't hide her. I protected myself. That word landed heavily. Protected. Because that was the part they didn't understand. This wasn't rebellion. This was survival. My dad stepped forward. His voice lower now. If you don't go along with this, you're on your own. No college support. No help. No home here. The silence after that was sharp. Kelsey looked terrified. But I didn't react emotionally. Because I had already accepted it. Then I guess I'll be on my own, I said quietly. That was the moment everything broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But completely. That night, I went upstairs and closed my door. And I waited. Because I knew something they didn't. Their deadline was 9 a.m. Mine was 8 a.m. And mine was already locked in. 8 a.m. The county recorder's office opened. Margaret walked in first. She submitted the trust documents. Then she filed the lease pendants. The clerk stamped it immediately. Recorded. Official. Irreversible. From that moment, the property could not be sold, transferred, or claimed by anyone outside the trust. It was legally frozen. Clean. Protected. Mine. At 9:05 a.m., Wade walked into the same office. Confident. Folder in hand. My dad behind him. They slid the quitclaim deed across the counter. The clerk looked at it. Then at the system. Then back at them. I can't record this, she said. Wade frowned. What do you mean? The property is held in an irrevocable trust, she said. And a lease pendants was filed an hour ago. My dad blinked. That's impossible. The clerk shook her head. It's already recorded. Wade stepped forward. Who filed it? The clerk looked down at the screen. Margaret Caldwell. Trustee. That name hit the room like a gunshot. Because now it was official. Not rumor. Not opinion. Law. They left the office in silence. No arguments. No confidence. Just collapse. Later that morning, my dad called me. His voice was different now. Not angry. Not loud. Just broken in a way I had never heard before. "You knew," he said. "Yes," I answered. "You let this happen." I paused. "No," I said softly. "You tried to take something that wasn't yours." Silence. Then he said something I will never forget. "I don't know how to fix this." I answered honestly. "You don't have to fix it. But you can't undo it." And then he hung up. Days passed. Then weeks. Ridgeline sued Wade. The notary stamp was fake. His license was suspended. The deal collapsed. The money vanished. And slowly, everything they built on assumption fell apart. Not because I attacked them, but because the truth finally had a place to stand. One afternoon, I sat on the cabin porch. The same porch Grandpa once fixed with me. The lake was still. The air was warm. Kelsey came and sat beside me with a pizza box. We didn't talk about the past. We didn't need to. We just ate. And listened to the water. Later, my mom called. Soft voice. Different tone. Not demanding. Not controlling. Just tired. "I don't know who we became," she said. I didn't answer right away. Then I said, "You became people Grandpa warned me about." Silence. Then she whispered, "I'm sorry." And for the first time, it sounded real. That evening, I stayed at the cabin alone. The sun set over Cedar Lake. Orange turning to deep blue. I opened the old drawer. Found Grandpa's letter again. Read the last line. "Take care of it. It took care of you first." And I understood something simple. This was never about winning. It was about keeping a promise. I didn't destroy my family. I didn't save them either. I just stopped them from taking something that wasn't theirs. And I finally stood on ground that was always meant to hold me. If there is one thing I learned, it's this. Sometimes protection doesn't look like love in the moment. But it is. And sometimes the people who truly care about you prepare for battles you don't even know are coming yet.